Hi YouTube, Regina here from Simply Fundamental. So today's topic. Today I want to talk to you about the end of frugality. The end of frugality. Yep, that's what I want to talk about. There are a number of YouTube channels that are focused primarily around the topic of frugality. They might have pennies in their name or living with less kind of, or frugality in their name. And I think these channels can be great. I want you to adopt frugality. But some of the channels don't outright say they are focused on frugality, and they start out that way. But what ends up happening is that the audience will start to question when they start spending more. And then they'll put out a video and it'll be like, why I'm no longer frugal, or why I am less frugal, or something of that nature. And so it is only in hindsight that you can kind of see this. And I don't know if they could see this, but folks who are gun ho about frugality will often drop their allure of frugality later on. And that is because frugality is a stage. It's a stage or a step during your path to wealth. It is not a place that you have to live, it's a place that you can visit. And so, what do I mean by this? When we talk about the stages of wealth, it is not a straight line. A lot of people have to go backwards before they can even go forwards. And so it will really depend on how they are with their money. And so avoidance breeds anxiety. The longer you go without looking at your bank balances, at your bills, it could be that you are amassing a lot of debt. If you don't know how much student loans you own, if you don't know how much you have in credit card debt, then you're probably avoiding your finances. And so with awareness comes clarity. And what ends up happening is once people have the courage to open their bills and to put it all out on the table, they then get to a point where they really want to face it and they want a change. It's almost like this moment comes up where they really, really want to make improvements. And this is wonderful. And so frugality comes in somewhere along the lines. But first stage really is, and I implore you to do this stage if you have any high interest debt, if you have debt in general, is the season of sacrifice. Now, what is the season of sacrifice? This is when you are super hyper focused on paying down your debt. And so you create a bare bones budget. Maybe it's really just survival mode budget. You cut out all your wants. You are looking at your needs category and trying to see where you can cut back. And maybe you scale down, or maybe you downsize, get a cheaper apartment, maybe you get a roommate, but you're going down to a bare bones budget. And though that means you are creating margin that you can then use to attack that debt. And so, as Dave Ramsey will put it, you are gazelle intense focused, or gazelle intense, I think he uses, to go after that debt. I implore you, again, do the season of sacrifice. It will make your path to wealth go a lot faster if you have the courage and you're brave enough to go for a short time to really attack your debt. And now, this season of sacrifice is meant to be no more than 1 to 2 years, somewhere within that window. Some people, it could be a lot less. It really depends on how much debt they have. But you shouldn't be cutting out wants forever, right? But during this season of sacrifice, you're really learning the habits of discipline and looking at every penny coming in and out of your life. And you are cutting back and you're saying no to everything, not because you want to, but because you need to. You need to get out of debt, and that's your focus. And you're also adopting and easing into frugality. And so basically, you are doing a lot of things yourself. So you are spending time over money when it comes to things. So frugality comes into play. And as you finish the season of sacrifice and you realize, wow, I paid a lot of my debt off. I need to start living life too. Life isn't just about working and paying off debt. You could, you ease right into the frugality stage. Now, the frugality stage really depends on whether you still have debt, how much margin you have between your paycheck and your savings, what your savings rate is, where frugality will come into play. But slowly over time, you're going to be finishing down, paying down debt, building an emergency fund, and you're going to start putting money in your retirement and you're going to be building wealth. And so frugality is making you have choices where you're looking at everything that you have and you have enough. So you have just enough wants, and you have your needs and you have margin built in so that you're saving. You are optimizing every dollar. You're looking at your spending, and by optimization, you're comparison shopping. So you know the price of eggs in every supermarket and you know where to go and how to save money on gas, and you're using apps and you're cutting back on your phone bill. So you're still doing those kind of things throughout during the season during frugality. It could be that you have enough, you are content with less, and you enjoy this lifestyle, and that you feel pride in this frugality. It's a badge of honor for you, and you want to live there, you want to stay there. And for some people, living that budget is enough. They find contentment there and they stay there, and that's quite okay. But over time, what ends up happening is wealth starts growing. You evolve. So, this is when you start to make lifestyle improvements and you're intentional with your money. So, it's not that you are abandoning frugality. Frugality was a stepping stone, it got you there. So you are building on it. And so you're starting to add things back into your life that could improve it. And you're not chasing every dollar. In this case, this would be like, you know what? My time is worth something. And so you're not going to drive 3 miles to get the cheaper milk at another station. You're not going to go as far into the comparison. You know you're getting a good value, but you're not going to pinch the pennies at this stage. And so this lifestyle improvement is more about aligning your time more so with your money, but it doesn't mean a complete departure in going over your bills. It doesn't mean that you're not living within your means. You still are. You're just making intentional choices that align more with your values and bring you more peace. And so this could be things like you're now adding more convenience back into your life. So instead of you doing your own laundry, you have more margin built in because your savings is going up. You pay down the debt. You have this happens like after the debt is gone, after your emergency fund is funded, after you start building wealth and your money is starting to compound and work for you. That's when the improvements come in. And they first start slowly. It could be that now, even though you don't exactly need to upgrade your furniture, but it's kind of shabby and it would make you feel great, you can go to do those kind of things. It's not about ego spending. It's not about comparing yourself to someone else. It is about things that bring you joy. And your wealth is growing. So it's not just your paycheck that you have to use. Now it is your money is working for you. So you have more margin. So for instance, if you pay down the debt, maybe you pay down your mortgage and you no longer have a loan on your home, you have more money. And so, therefore, lifestyle improvement can look like a departure from frugality. And it could be. Because what ends up happening next is Sometimes you move from that modest, improved lifestyle, and sometimes you move into a lifestyle of wealth. And at this stage is you've surpassed the point where your money is it's earning more than your job is earning for you. But you might still be working at this point. And maybe now you can add other things in. Maybe you can add another property. Maybe you can add a little more debt in your life. That is a lifestyle of wealth. You could be generous. You could give more. You could do more with your money. These are the things that your sacrifice stage, your frugality stage led into. So, frugality shouldn't be the goal that you have with your money. It shouldn't be a lifestyle that you plan to stay and live at unless you find contentment there. If you find contentment with frugality, then by all means stay there. If you find contentment with living a modest lifestyle after you've made some improvements, by all means stay there. But money isn't just meant to be saved and invested and grown to build wealth. It's also meant to be spent in ways that you find value and that bring you joy and bring ease into your life. And so don't feel that you can't make lifestyle improvements, because you'll see a lot of these YouTube creators out there who started out with frugality, built up wealth. They're going through the stages and now they're living a more abundant life. And so adopt frugality, get through the stages of wealth, and stop when you reach enough. Because at the end of the day, not trying to save every penny, you're not trying to amass this huge amount of wealth, because your money can compound further than you think you can. But what are you going to be saving those dollars for? You need to use it to spend to improve your life. Not the same as lifestyle inflation. Just to be clear, lifestyle inflation is when your salary grows and your spending grows along with it. Sometimes it surpasses it and builds you debt. So, lifestyle improvement, not the same as inflating your lifestyle. One is done with intentional choices that you've earned and eased your way into, and the other is done with disregard, or maybe not even intentionally thinking about your money, and it is done from comparison, um, fear of missing out, feeling like you deserve it mentality, and yeah, it's done without your finances in mind. Anyway, this is Regina from Simply Fundamental. Hope you're having a great evening, and I will catch you on the next one. The end of frugality. I want you to embrace it, but I want you to let it go when you get there.